the one and only. Let me bring him on the show. The one and only KO artist. You stopping an argument right now.
Is that good? I don't know. Is that a good thing?
we can go on for hours on this argument, but it's nice to have you on the show. I haven't seen you in a while, big guy.
Thank you for having me. Good to see you, Cam.
Yeah, obviously watching your work, Mr. Steve Carino. Did I get it right?
Carino. Yeah, close enough.
Hey, I'm trying, big dog. I'm trying. Hey, we got some fantastic boxing news. We got some fantastic news for boxing fans today. It's about time. But let's jump right into it. For those of you who know or who don't know, first of all, Steve is one of my guys from one of the guys I really respect covering the boxing game. I respect, and I'm gonna be 100% honest. I've been dabbling in this. My first fight was Deontay Wilder and Fury won at the Staples Center. That was my first fight.
Tell us something. Okay.
And
not bad for our first one, is it?
I wasn't sure how big that was. I wasn't sure how big that was going into it. Obviously, afterwards, it's been what it is. But in LA, we get to cover a lot of events, boxing warm-ups, not really the fight. When what is it called? Help me out, Steve. When they're warming up before the fight, just the training.
Like the media workouts, or what do you mean?
Media workouts. There you go. Thank you. Yeah. And then we get a chance to talk to the fighters. But Steve pulled me aside one day. I'm asking some crazy questions, and Steve pulled me aside. It's like, Cam, you can't ask the boxers what do they think about this, because they're going to tell you they can beat everybody's ass. You got to mix your questions up. You got to mix it up a little bit. So I really respect Steve for pulling me aside and being like, and help showing me the ropes. And he knows what he's doing. So really,
I'm trying.
Bullshit. He knows what he's doing, fans. And so I really respect Steve, not only for that, but Steve is prepared. He comes with his notebook filled, ready to ask the real deal questions. I think I ask great questions. Steve comes really prepared. So check him out, KO Artist on YouTube. KO Artist on, man, I see you on Twitter, you on TikTok, and you got the whole gamut now. KO Artist, check him out. Subscribe to his page, because Steve really comes with it, and he brings great content. Fans, if you haven't heard yet, I'm telling you. Yeah. KO Artist Sports. Correct me where I'm wrong. The news is we get Crawford and Spence 7/29, July 29th this year. That's awesome. And with the rematch clause. So now I'm a little, so the rematch, the way I read the press report is there's a rematch clause, and then if there's a trilogy, it's going to be early in 2024. Now that has me scratching my head a little bit.
So
Steve,
it's the way the rematch clause works is if the loser obviously has the right to enact it. I will want to say Coppinger said, Mike Coppinger of ESPN said it was within 30 days of the fight, right? Which is, the rumor is July 29th. So whoever loses can decide to enact it. And then I want to say, at least from what the rumors were the first time around, they get like the lesser split of the purse. I don't know if that's what it is this time around. I know that's what the rumor was last time. But Crawford's deal is only 2 fights. So
so the trilogy is that's
not like anything guaranteed at all. It's just, I mean, who knows, right? What if the winner wins twice? Or what if the loser doesn't want the rematch necessarily, because maybe, I don't know, maybe it was bad for them. I don't know who, I mean, it's a lot of, to be honest, the fight's not even signed yet. So we're really kind of getting ahead of ourselves, like kind of a lot.
So I was when I saw that report, and I saw him talking about the trilogy, it just scratched my head. Like, are they already planning for a trilogy?
Yeah, we gotta. I know we've had a good year. Us boxing fans have had a good year, and it's it's going good, and we kind of wanted to keep going. Obviously, with this announcement, it sounds like it's going to be good, right? But I mean, first things first, right? Let's see them in the ring together. Let's get to July 29th. Let's. Because even though we all saw that report and it's Coppinger, it's ESPN, I mean, we've seen it before, right? We saw it for November 19th last year or something like that. And, here we are, and still hasn't happened. So
But I've heard from, I don't know if you watched Errol Spence's Pillow Talk with his girl, and he's talking about he was calling and he's on the phone. He was on the phone and he wanted to get it done. So I heard that Crawford says he wants to get it done. That's interesting. Steve, let me play something. Let me play something for you. See what get your thoughts on this, because you'll appreciate this. Excuse me, fans. Let me get back here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Who am I speaking to right now?
Cameron.
My name is
Cameron. Cam Buford.
I'm a Dolphin fan.
There's always room for improvement.
This is a big year for Tua to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
I'm more a fan of boxing. Boxing is my main sport.
I'm not worried about him right now. I'm worried about Crawford. I'm trying to get that fight made.
As a competitor, how much does that competitive spirit get in there and say, I want to fight this guy. I want to get some of this guy.
Of course, I want to fight all the guys. Of course that. But at the same time, like I keep telling you, it's a business.
Once you finish them off, do you feel you get the credit and the respect you deserve there?
It really don't matter. I'm just on a mission to become the best, welterweight in the division. After I get him, I want to fight the next best guy, the next best guy, the next best guy. Then once I clear the division, I'm going to move up.
Think about it like this. The promoter pays the fighter. The fighter pays the manager.
Okay.
So the manager works for the fighter, and the fighter works for the promoter.
Okay.
If you can see, you can.
All right, I just wanted to play the cut with Spence and then Crawford right there. It looks like they're ready, man. I know Spence has talked about it. Crawford's talked about it. I think we're a couple years too late on this fight, actually. So I'm gonna go with the younger guy, if it actually happens on July 29th. What's your thoughts on Derek James, though, and how much can the trainer change a fighter? And I'm gonna give you an example. How much can Derek James improve Ryan Garcia?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I mean, I believe Eddie Reynoso helped Ryan a lot, right? We kind of saw a little more like hip movement. Guy had his hands up a little bit more. I felt wasn't kind of like pulling back the way he kind of used to prior to that. With Joe Goosen, I don't know if I really saw a whole lot of improvements in Ryan with Joe Goosen. I don't know. Maybe I just missed him. I don't know. I really didn't. I don't know. He didn't get extremely better, but in my eyes, so we'll see.
He was up against a tougher opponent when in Tank. So they say,
yeah. I'm just saying, like with what were the two dudes before that? The guy in Texas.
Not Garcia.
The guy that Garcia fought in Texas. I can't think of his name, but
Pedraza.
No. He just anyway. The two fights he was with Goosen, I don't know. I didn't
see a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, but Derek James trains completely different. He's not like he's about being in the right place at the right time to deliver the right shots. Mm-hmm. He's not like a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of punch like guy. If you see him with like Jermell and Spence and stuff, he's like very calculated. It's like one shot at a time. It's picking the spots to make sure you're kind of
more calculated.
You're delivering the most leverage and then like being defensively responsible. It's going to be very interesting to see how Ryan looks after that, because fighters tend to revert back to what they know when they get hurt and stuff like that.
That's what I was thinking about when Tyson, and Ryan,
but if Derek could really kind of get him slowing down a little bit, I think it's a great choice. I think it's a perfect choice for Ryan.
He's one of the better trainers in the game. So yeah, he should be.
He's got
trainer
Frank
year
Martin,
at least.
Ryan Garcia, Anthony Joshua, Earl Spence, Jermell Charlo.
Well, we got to see what Joshua was able to do if he's ever to win a fight. Period. I mean, if he just adds more, he can't put the heart in the guy, and that's more so what Joshua needs. Joshua has a lot of everything else. He just doesn't have the heart. But you was at the fight in Vegas over the weekend. The big controversy. Appreciate again your footage. You got everybody was disappointed in it, but the Haney Noma fight. How did you see it? I had it 7-5 Haney. I had Haney winning that last round to kind of win the fight. How did you see it? Was it as controversial it being in the ring or in the arena as you thought?
Did you have Loma winning the 10th round?
Loma won the 10th round. I had Loma. Loma was behind. Yeah, Loma won the 10th round.
Yeah.
I had Haney winning the final round, and that was it because I had it even. I had actually even going into that final round.
Well, what did you guys think? Did you guys watch the fight as well?
I did not watch the fight, but I heard it was quite controversial with regards to the decision ultimately.
Yeah, Freddie Roach has some choice words.
A lot of people. What did Freddie say? A lot of people had some thought about.
He thought Lomas won.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear what Freddie said. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did, man. A lot of people told me. Jorge Linares told me. He goes, "Oh man, watch your wallet, watch your watch. They're robbing people out here in Vegas."
Garcia was almost pissed coming out of there.
Yeah, man.
I saw Garcia. Garcia wasn't happy.
Yeah, Garcia too. A lot of people were upset, man. But I mean, you know, I other people had it 7-5 Haney. Other people had it like, you know, the other way, you know, in Media Row. So it's just what it is. It's a close fight. I think Haney's body attack was maybe it's a little harder to kind of not as eye-catching, right? When Haney's head's going back to kind of notice that he's also kind of delivered body shots in the same exchange, you know. So
I was impressed with Loma. It was a close fight. I was impressed with Loma. I expected a little bit more domination. It definitely wasn't the 16-12 that one of the refs had it. It wasn't 16-12s. It definitely was not. But I thought Haney would beat him tactically. I thought I had to go into distance. I just thought Haney would beat him tactically. Haney proved that he's a more tactical fighter. He proved to me anyway that is a tactical fighter. So I expected that. I didn't expect Loma to. Loma came on strong towards the end. He came on pretty strong. I just didn't expect him to pull it out ultimately. But yeah, Robert Garcia, like you say, Linares, Max. They all had Loma winning that fight. So I was kind of surprised by that. But the fight of the night,
just kind of personal interaction with Loma after I was driving back with another media member that night. We were just doing like a turnaround. And we ran into Loma at In-N-Out.
Oh shit! Really?
In-N-Out. Yeah, it was like just like 6 of them. Yeah, and I was like, oh, and there's like no one in line. It was like an In-N-Out a little away from the strip.
Okay.
And it was like we kind of looked at him, and then I was like, "Oh shit, that's Loma." And then he looked at us, and he was like, "Oh hey," and I was like, "Oh shit." So it was kind of a trip.
Did he talk to you guys?
Share that moment, you know what I mean, with the fighter at that point. You know, it was just that was a really cool moment to be able to kind of talk to him after, really kind of just have because you know, us in media, you know, after a fight, after a game, whatever, it's always kind of like we're grabbing the mic, we're saying something, we're trying to get something out of them, and you don't have that human experience, you know what I mean? So getting to really kind of look in his eyes, shake his hand, you know, like it was pretty neat. It was a pretty cool.
So the camera was down. Cameras.
Yeah, I'm not. You know, I'm trying to read the room a little bit. I was like, it's going to be okay with something like that.
You always
good man.
You always.
Sometimes you got to take the camera off, man. You do.
You get more content. You get better content. You get better content without the camera. You definitely do. Right. But then when you're in the business, you kind of want that camera to catch those moments. But I know for sure my interactions with not only boxers but just athletes in general, you get better content without the camera. Like if you just walk up to somebody's
you gotta, man, it's just the man just lost a dream that he's been waiting for, right? His biggest professional dream that there was, and he's pretty sure that's the last time it's going to happen, right? So it was just kind of, you know, the energy of it was just like, yeah, let me just kind of, you know, be with this man in this moment and just kind of like just.
Do you agree?
In my respect,
do you agree that? I understand what he was saying when Haney was pissed that he didn't see him fight him 4 years ago when Haney didn't have a belt. And then Loma honestly said, well, at that time, you know, I'm trying to get belts. He didn't have a belt, so we didn't fight. I can't really be mad at that logic, but do you agree that Haney had reason to be upset? Do you see that same thing?
Oh, I mean, of course he in his mind he's going to be upset because he had to wait 4 years longer than he would have liked to. But that's just kind of like young man vigor, right? Like you just kind of like 20 years old, you want to like get after it. You want to. It was smarter for him to wait. I mean, 4 years ago, he hadn't fought Linares, he hadn't fought JoJo. Maybe it was like 4 years ago. Yeah, I mean, well, he might have lost this one, but like it would have been like worse, right? Or like he's obviously more prepared now than he was. Like he would have been back then.
Sure. Were you at your seat for the Nakatani Nakatani versus Maloney?
I wasn't. I was. Yeah, I left and I was like having a Uber issue because EDC let out, so it was like Ubers were like hella hard to get. But yeah, I heard about it after I got there right as that ended and found out about it later. And I got there for like the Mutaya and I don't remember who his knockout, and then Valdez and Lopez.
And
that was a good fight.
Nakatani he punished Maloney, but he hung in there. He was punished him from round 1 to the end, and until you finished him in the 10th or 11th. But Maloney. Maloney hung in there. He hung in there for a minute until just that last final knockout. What do you think, Josh Taylor, Teofimo? Who you got on that fight?
It's a really good fight. I think, man, Josh Taylor's. I think he's great. Solid. He's really good, bro. He's really, really good. I mean, you don't beat, Ramirez. You don't beat Regis Prograde if you're just nobody. You know what I mean? Regis Prograde is. I thought was the guy, and I still think is the guy. But man, Taylor even kind of fought, kind of dogged it out with him too. He wasn't just kind of boxing and staying on the outside. It
was a slugfest.
I think you kind of have to lean towards him, especially after. I didn't watch Teofimo's last fight. I heard about it. Sandro Martin is a great fighter. I think a very underrated fighter. I'll say. But regardless of that, with Teofimo saying afterwards, do I still got it kind of to his team?
Right.
Not paying attention to the cameras were around. That's like that's a problem with like up here. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you don't kind of like answer those questions in the ring with somebody like another dog. You know what I mean? Like another guy trying to take your head off. So it's not only that, but we'll see.
Not only that, I think he's a bunch of hot air. He shouldn't have never lost to Camposis. He shouldn't have lost. He wasn't ready for the fight. You the champ. You talk so much shit. Not only you the champ, it's okay to lose, but you can't talk so much shit about everybody going into the fight. Like it wasn't only about the boxer. He talked shit about everybody in boxing. Like he was a shit, and Camposis put it to at the moment he shouldn't have lost to Camposis. I think Camposis proved that you can come back because he was in a desperate situation after he lost. He just lost that. Camposis, if I remember correctly, Camposis was on a rebound when he fought Teofimo.
I don't think so. I want to say wasn't Camposis undefeated?
When he lost to Teofimo, let me check it out.
No, Camposis beat Teofimo.
Yeah, let me see.
I thought he was, or maybe not undefeated, but I know he was on like a win streak. That's why he had the shot, because he was like someone's number one contender.
What do you think about Camposis? Who is he fighting next?
He just signed with Top Rank, so I don't know. Probably Shakur, to be honest. That's probably why they brought him over.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's another question. That's another guy that everybody seemed to be ducking. Everybody seemed to be ducking Shakur. I think Shakur is the best out there. I don't think Haney really wants Shakur. You saw that when he ran out the ring, right?
That picture was great, huh? How great was that?
Yeah,
picture?
with staring at him. I don't think Shakur. I don't think Haney wants Shakur. That's why he's talking about moving up. And him and who would you have between Haney and Tank?
I wouldn't say Haney doesn't want Shakur. I think.
You think he wants him?
They're somewhat friendly. Like, I think they're friendly. I don't know if they're friends necessarily, but I think they've been friends since they were younger. They have kind of that kinship or whatever. It's just not, the money's not there. Shakur just got to 135. This is Haney's first pay-per-view, right? Because the Camposis fights were on regular ESPN. I mean, that's a fight that needs building up. I think, and I think Haney's just a big ass dude. I don't think he's going to be at 140 for much longer at all. But he's going to hold up the division while he figures it out because I mean, he made the weight okay. I think they're going to see what happens. That they might reach out to Tank. They might. I don't know. I don't know what I mean. It's really just Tank or go back to Top Rank for Shakur. I doubt you give Loma a rematch. You probably just kind of move forward and keep that in the rear view.
I don't think they want to give him a rematch.
So we'll see. If regardless, Haney's going to move up soon, and so now 140 is looking pretty stacked, right? With Ryan, with Haney, the Lopez Taylor winner, obviously Regis, some of the guys in Top Rank with Ramirez and Barbosa. So 140 is looking pretty solid.
Yeah, you're right. He was undefeated going into Camposis. Camposis was undefeated going into Lopez when he beat Lopez.
Yeah,
you're right about that. So yeah, man, we got some good fights coming up. What is your thoughts on? I saw you had a chance to chop it up with Keyshawn Davis. Yeah. He's in a tough competition as well. He's at 147, right?
No, he's at 135.
He's at. Oh yeah, so he can take over 135 if he waits a year. He can kind of rule that one, huh?
Yeah, he'll get bigger, he'll get better. He's real tight with Shakur, so I don't know.
They won't fight. Yeah, but Shakur's not.
I don't know how. I mean, I know he called him his brother, but
But they're not gonna fight. They're not gonna fight. Shakur will be moved up to 140 by then. I don't think he's gonna stay at. You think he'll stay at 135? Because he's still. What is he? He's still growing. He's gonna be.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but so is Keyshawn though, because Keyshawn's very young, so they're gonna keep.
But he'll have the chance to grab some straps at 135. Is what I'm saying. And I think
maybe we'll see how it all shakes out. I mean, we'll see. Devin Haney's the man holding the division like in his hand. He's the king,
Could he fight at 140 or 147, Devin Haney? You think?
Yeah, for sure.
And how much power would he leave? I mean, he's not a knockout power type of guy anyway.
Yeah, but he's only 24. Who knows when he kind of starts filling in a little bit more. I mean, he might. The fact that he's bringing himself down so much to 135. I mean, who knows how that affects his power really. Canelo kind of seemed to fill into his power, right? Because he started off at like 47, 54, and then kind of at 60, 68 is where he really kind of filled in and started like really kind of destroying guys, right? So he's young. We'll see. Obviously, it doesn't seem like that would happen. Obviously, the guys get bigger. He doesn't hit that hard now, so you kind of wouldn't think so. But
you think that power can grow? You think that power can grow?
Yeah.
Do you? So speaking of Canelo, do we see a Canelo and Benavides fight? Do we see that fight, or do we see a Charlo fight? Charlo with Canelo, or do we see Charlo and Benavides? Which more likely?
I think. I don't know, man. I don't know really, because I don't think we get Canelo Benavides, at least not next, if ever. Shawn Porter was telling me this weekend, if ever. He said we never see it. Shawn Porter told me, he's like, we never see Benavides Canelo.
Really?
That's what he said. Yeah. I really think Canelo's going to try to rematch Bivol.
Ooh.
He shouldn't. He'll probably want to do it at 175. He shouldn't do that either. Yeah.
That was a punishment. That was. I mean, he really want to challenge himself. I don't think that's a good look. I'd like to see Charlo is. So Charlo 160 Jermell at 160. He's been out of action for 2 years now. Has it been 2 years or 3?
In June it'll be 2 years.
That ring rust is. I mean,
see, that's why kind of Charlo's out of the discussion. I feel like because it has been 2 years. That's at 160. The guys we're talking about are like 168, 175. You know, when you've been around Jermall and then you've been around like David and Morrell and even Caleb Plant and Canelo himself, like Jermall's like a 160 pounder. You know what I mean? He's like a solid 160 pound fighter. Like David is like
weight. Yeah, David is growing. He don't have that extra weight.
David's like, that's a big dude. Like, Caleb's like, all right. Like you kind of see the thickness of these guys, like maybe more. And Maul looks like a 160 pound guy. He's not. He's just a little smaller. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, I mean, who do we see? You mentioned Plant. Could we see a Plant? You're saying Jamal's gonna have to move up, or you're saying Jamal's gonna have to move up.
I don't think Maul needs
160.
To do it,
who's
really.
there? Who's there at 160?
Carlos Adames is at 160. That's probably the best fight at 160. I mean, I don't know if Triple G's retired 100%. There's the other champions like Janabek at 160. Who's the other dude who's a champion at 160? I think that might be it actually.
And then so to get a piece of Benavides, he's gonna have to go up. So Benavides, who's left out there for him, or who are everybody just running from him now because they know is his mind right? He's mind right.
Well, he's become the money guy, right? Because they just had that pay-per-view with Caleb Plant. So I mean, other than Canelo in the division, who else is gonna like bring money other than David Benavides? You know, so. But he's kind of in another issue too. I mean, like who really is other than Canelo? He kind of beat. I mean, I don't know who else is there really. You know, there's David Morrell, and David Morrell's really good, but he's only fought 2 rounds in the last like 2 years or something because he keeps knocking dudes out, like
knocking people out. Yeah, I think he actually called out Benavides in the last fight, didn't he? After the last fight. But, I mean, that's reaching. He was reaching.
You have to say it, but he's not like calling for a contract or anything like that. You know what I mean? He's gonna say it while the mic's in front of his. But he's not to say he's afraid of him or anything like that. But I'm sure he'd be willing to do it. But you know, his people kind of know better. They need to they just need to. He needs more polish. He needs more rounds. Before
he's not getting them because he's dropping cats. So, I mean that might be a lure. That might be a lure to him. That might be a lure for him though. He's getting guys. Steve, once again, let the people know where they can find you, Steve.
On all platforms, mostly YouTube is where I put my interviews at KO Artist Sports, but Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, it's all at KO Artist Sports. I'm almost at 100,000 subscribers. I'm like less than 2,000 away from 100,000.
I noticed that. That's growth. That's growth. That's growth right there.
Appreciate it.
So talk to me about a couple guys that I particularly like, and I don't think we've seen enough of them. Is Boots Ennis? He's another dangerous fighter that people don't really want to call his name out too long. Do you think now that we have Spence and Crawford scheduled for July in a potential rematch by the end of the year, does that set him back? Do we see him fight this again this year? He fought earlier this year, right?
January. I hope so. You know, it's sad to see like a great young talent like that fight at least twice a year, right? I mean, he's not even headlining pay-per-views, and it's already iffy if we get to see him twice a year. I know he's in the gym. I know he's ready. He's healthy. I hope so. I mean, it's gonna take something to get people in the ring with him. I wonder if the guy that beat Rashidi Ellis, the Venezuelan guy, or Colombian, one of those, the guy that beat Rashidi Ellis that night, the Tank fought Garcia, the first Garcia. That's a great fight for Ennis because those are the other that dude. I can't remember his Miguel something. He's Sam's guy, Sam Lukowitz. So I mean that's a good fight for Jaren. I hope to see him again. I mean he's a great talent. You know.
Yeah, a lot of these guys don't. As you mentioned, a young guy. We need to see him. We need to see more often. And unfortunately, is it promoters that keeping these guys out of the ring and not letting your guy fight? Is that why we're not seeing the fight? What's your thoughts on that?
I don't know, really. You know, I'm not like involved in that too much. From what I understand, it's there's only so much money, right? And everyone's trying to get paid like the most they can, and so sometimes it's hard to put good fights together for reasons like that.
So Eddie Hearn, this was last year before he fought Bivol at that press conference. That wasn't San Diego. That was Hollywood. That was in Hollywood. The press conference in Hollywood. Eddie Hearn said, I asked, before, they had us outside. They had us outside talking to Canelo outside, and then they brought the press conference inside. That was outside Hollywood with Canelo and Bivol press conference. But I asked Eddie Hearn then. He was saying that the reason at that time, the reason the Crawford Spence fight hasn't been made because there's no money involved in it. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, he's a European promoter. Where is he?
Matchroom.
But Matchroom. But no, what country is it from? Is it England?
Yeah, like UK, kind of Europe. Yeah.
So he was saying, coming from that aspect, that he's saying that his fighter Canelo brings a country to the fight, not like we have American fighters. We're bringing the black fighter. That's the Spencer Crawford is going to bring black fighters to the fight. Versus if Spence fights Canelo's bringing a country, as if the whole thing was about Pacquiao. Pacquiao was bringing every Filipino that enjoys boxing is trying to get that fight.
Right.
So that makes that fight a whole lot bigger, whoever he's fighting, versus Spence Crawford, Spence is going to bring all of Texas with them. Crawford is going to bring all of Nebraska with them. Is that a big enough fight to fight when you have a Canelo, a countryman, or Pacquiao? I'm just throwing out examples. When you have a black and Mexican fighter, you can bring Mexicans, all of Mexico into the fight. Or you follow what I'm saying?
I think too much is put into that because if we're honest, in the last month, Davis Ryan did 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, and Canelo I heard did like 200,000. So it's not. It's really
come on, but Canelo fought a nobody though.
That's what I'm saying. So this is my point about what you're saying is that too much is put into that sometimes because look at that. I mean, like 1.3 million watched Garcia and Tank, and only 250. I mean, so that doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It's what matters is the quality of the fight. If you put a good fight on, boxing fans are going to pay for it.
They're going to turn out for it. If you put
garbage, we're going to illegally stream it.
Great point on that. I'll be honest with you, because a lot of us, I mean, that's the common thread. I mean, when I go all the way back to Roberto Duran. That's how old I am, right? So I mean, that's how it was. That's how it always has been. That's the thought process of it. But then again, back then, there was a mega fight almost every single month, right? So I mean, we're living in different times right now.
Right, for sure.
So Steve, outside of this, we're crossing our fingers that this actually fight does happen, the Spence Crawford fight. What are a couple of fights that you really want to see? You really looking forward to?
That same week, Stephen Fulton's fighting Naoya Inoue, the Japanese fighter.
On the 25th.
That's like on a Tuesday. It's like on a random day.
Why are they doing that?
I have no idea why they do fights. Because for them, it's
who is that? Who is that? Is that match?
It's on a different day.
Who's doing it? Is that Matchroom fight? Is that Matchroom?
That's Top Rank ESPN.
Top Rank? Interesting. On a Tuesday night?
So I don't, and it's like at 3-4 in the morning our time, so it's real kind of random. But it's a great fight. That's a really really great fight.
Right. Okay.
Those are probably the two best ones, really, because I mean, man, boxing's had a good year, and it's for the schedule so far. I mean, it's only getting better, right? If these, I mean, obviously Steven and Nuez for sure. And Nuez he wasn't undisputed. He's a 3-division champion. He's undisputed at 118, moving up to 122, facing Stephen Fulton, who has 2 belts. That's a great fight, and Nuez like a generational talent as well. So. Right. But what's crazy, it's all that week. That's on Tuesday, and then Spence Crawford is on Saturday. So those are. Oh, and then also what is it? June
10th, the Taylor and Teofimo.
Well, 10th, that one, yeah. But I'm thinking of Virgil Ortiz is fighting Stanionis. That's a great fight at welterweight. That's July 17th or something like that. So we got some good boxing coming up this summer. The summer's going to be good with boxing.
You got a house in Vegas yet?
No, but I have to start booking stuff though. Because
I know, right?
I have to look at New York because we're getting close to New York for June 10th. So I have to look at that.
Are you going to Taylor Teofimo?
Yeah. And then the game plan is to go to New Orleans for Regis the week after.
Oh, look at you!
So,
look at you!
Yeah, make that a little half vacation there, maybe.
Look at those students. Those students are gonna be wondering where you at. Those students are gonna be looking for you.
Yeah, I don't know if a whole lot of work's gonna happen that week. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, Steve, man, we enjoy having you on here, man. Thank you for joining us. I definitely want to get your feedback. I don't think I'm gonna make it to Taylor. That's going to be the week of the NBA draft. I might make that in New York. I might make that, but I'm definitely shutting everything down to get to Vegas for that Crawford Spence. I'm definitely shutting it all down to get to that one. That's going to be. I'm going to reunite with the fellas out there because that's going to be the spectacle we all been looking for. But Steve, let the fans know where they can find you once again.
So I'm on KO Artist Sports on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that stuff. Thank you, Cam. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, man. I'm glad we were able to work it out. Thank you, fellas. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been awesome. Thank you.
No, man, you're the man. You're the man. And then we go back, so I appreciate your feedback as always. Appreciate your honesty. You've been a really cool dude, man. So I can't thank you enough for being who you are, and just continue to do what you do, man. Because we're checking you out. You're gonna be over 100,000 subscribers on KO Artist Sports here pretty soon.
I just subscribed.
Hey, thank you.
This afternoon, so you got 2 more.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, so keep doing it. We're going to promote this. I'm going to cut this up and send it to you, Steve. But I thank you for making time for us, bro. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Have a good one.
Have a good night, bro.
Steve Caneno, guys.